Fox News Channel is making some changes to its programming, and in this video, I'm going to specifically talk about its primetime lineup. They are moving Martha MacCallum's show, which originally was 7 p.m. Eastern Time, to 3 p.m., and right now they are essentially interviewing potential hosts for her original slot, hosts that are going to be much more of the opinion talk show nature. This is what Fox posted on January 11th. Fox News Channel to launch revamped daytime programming lineup. There's a lot here. I'll put the link in the description if you want to read it all, but I will just draw your attention to how they are. Again, right here you see the story with Martha MacCallum, 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and right here 7 to 8 p.m. Fox News primetime. That was her original slot following special report with Bret Baier. Now, they say here, a rotating group of Fox News opinion personalities will host the 7 p.m. hour Fox News primetime until a permanent host is named. So they're being pretty honest about the fact that they are switching out one of their least partisan hosts to change that hour to an opinion show. What they don't really say in this article is why. But this Business Insider article basically says what I've been hearing from my connections that I still have at Fox. Fox News got crushed in the inauguration day ratings, falling 77% from 2017. Now, Fox lost a lot of viewers before this article came out, and many of you probably know that is because of what happened on election night, and they're calling Arizona earlier than other channels, and a lot of people decided they were done with Fox News Channel and they were going to go to Newsmax and OAN. What I've been hearing and what Business Insider is talking about here is that those ratings have become such a significant concern for Fox News Channel that they're now switching up the way that their shows are stacked and moving to more opinion shows in order to try to win these viewers back. From what I've been reading, CNN won the cable news ratings for Inauguration Day. MSNBC actually did pretty well. They, according to what I've seen, had their highest rated Inauguration Day for their network. And Fox just did not do that well. So Fox wants to climb back into the ratings, and they're doing that by moving out one of their least partisan hosts and putting in an opinion show. And I just wanted to do this video to say, Fox is not saying, okay, you left us, so now we're going to do better journalism. They're saying, you left us, so we're going to give you more of what we think you want to hear. And perhaps this comes as no surprise to anybody, but I figured I would just point this out as somebody who has some background in how ratings drive coverage. You know, back in local news, we were regularly looking at analytics, what people were clicking online, how to keep stories that people were clicking on going, for several days if we could. And with sweeps rolled around, the 4 months of the year that everybody freaks out because they want to make sure that they're rated better than the competitor station, essentially, so we could charge more money for advertising. I guess, at the reporter level, we're thinking of interesting stories that we want to cover, but our bosses want interesting stories that people will watch, whether there are other issues that are potentially more important that should be covered. It's the issues that people are going to watch that they want on the news. And so even though, folks like myself were regularly asked for good ideas during sweeps, for instance, but on a regular basis, ratings were always important. I wasn't sitting back thinking, okay, how can I get people to watch? I wanted to do good journalism. But that said, the analytics were always driving the decisions of where to put that story, for instance, in the rundown, whether my managers were going to let me pursue that story, how much time they were going to give me for that story, the resources I was going to get for that story. I mean, all that went into the understanding of whether somebody's going to watch it and the importance of that for the ratings. And so that plays a huge part in how things are produced. And so it's not like Fox is really any different in that regard, though of course in other ways, they're significantly different. This is just to say, let's all be aware of how our behavior affects what's happening on the big screen, if you will. Because I think there are a lot of us who sit back and wish there was less bias in the news, but our behavior may signal to the news stations that actually we want more bias. So I'm curious what you think about that, because I think their response has been interesting from an educational perspective for all of us to see how things work. It's been one of the more stark opportunities to see that working in real time, because that was such a significant change in the viewing audience for Fox News Channel, and it happened so quickly. So you're seeing the response happen just as quickly, whereas maybe in past years you wouldn't necessarily see the changes made in direct correlation or causation even with viewing behavior. But this is much easier to see, and it does jive with what I've heard from folks I know behind the scenes. So I'm curious what you think about this, what you think about Fox News Channel, what you think about news in general. I'll listen to it all, so definitely leave me a comment. And don't forget, of course, like, share, make sure you're subscribed. But, more than anything, I guess what I'm interested in your reaction to this is, what do you think about Fox's response? Do you think that's the right thing to do? Curious, because I hear from a lot of people that they're just sick of bias in the news. But if Fox is just answering by saying we're going to put more opinion, and I don't know, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. What do you think about that? And does that change if you were somebody who left Fox for OAN or Newsmax? Does this affect your decision? Are you going to start watching Fox again? Are you thinking differently about this? I'm just curious about your position on all of this. So again, leave me a comment. Always love to hear from people, and I'll see you next time.